There is a question I get asked more than almost any other in my practice, and it is a question that has spawned thousands of YouTube videos, countless forum debates, and more confusion than almost any other topic in men's health. It is a question that young men ask with anxiety in their voices, middle-aged men ask with concern, and older men ask with a quiet sense of resignation. The question is this: does daily ejaculation destroy your testosterone? I have heard every version of this question. I have heard the gym bro who swears he can feel his testosterone drop after sex. I have heard the athlete who abstains for weeks before a competition because he believes it gives him an edge. I have heard the patient who is terrified that his healthy sex life is somehow emasculating him. And I have heard the complete opposite. The man who believes that daily ejaculation actually boosts his testosterone and makes him more virile. Both sides are convinced they are right. And both sides are operating on a mix of ancient myths, misinterpreted studies, and pure speculation. So let me settle this once and for all. And I am going to do it with actual science. Not bro science, not locker room talk, not internet folklore. I am a urologist. I have spent my career studying male reproductive health, hormone function, and the intricate relationship between sexuality and overall wellness. I have treated thousands of men for low testosterone. I have prescribed testosterone replacement therapy. I have watched men struggle with libido, energy, mood, and muscle mass. And I have watched them recover. I know what the research says. I know what the clinical evidence shows. And I know exactly what is happening in your body when you ejaculate. Whether it is every day, once a week, or once a month, here is the truth that most people do not want to hear. The relationship between ejaculation and testosterone is not simple. It is not a straight line. It is not the one-size-fits-all answer. And anyone who tells you that daily ejaculation definitely destroys your testosterone, or that it definitely boosts it, is selling you something. The reality is far more nuanced. And once you understand the nuance, you can stop worrying about this entirely and start focusing on what actually matters for your hormonal health. Let us start with the science. The most famous study on this topic, the one that everyone cites, is the Jung study from 2003. In that study, researchers measured testosterone levels in healthy men over a period of several weeks. They found that testosterone levels peaked on the 7th day of abstinence. That is right. Day 7 showed a significant spike in testosterone. Then, after day 7, testosterone returned to baseline. That study has been used as evidence for the NoFap movement, for celibacy advocates, and for men who believe that abstinence is the key to higher testosterone. But here is what those people do not tell you. The same study found that there was no significant increase in testosterone after shorter periods of abstinence, and the spike on day 7 was transient. It did not persist. It was a single-day bump that quickly normalized. Now let us look at another study. A more recent study from 2018, published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine, looked at the effect of ejaculation frequency on testosterone levels in men. And what they found was something surprising. There was no significant difference in baseline testosterone levels between men who ejaculated daily and men who abstained. None. Zero. The men who ejaculated every day had the same baseline testosterone as the men who did not ejaculate at all. So, if daily ejaculation destroys testosterone, where is the destruction? It is not in the data, but here is where it gets interesting. The same study found that men who ejaculated more frequently had higher levels of androgen receptor sensitivity. Let me explain what that means. Testosterone is a hormone that floats in your blood, but it cannot do anything until it binds to an androgen receptor, which is like a docking station on your cells. The more sensitive those receptors are, the more effectively your body uses the testosterone you already have. So even if your total testosterone level is the same, if your receptors are more sensitive, you will experience more of the effects of testosterone. More energy, more libido, more muscle building, more confidence, and frequent ejaculation appears to increase that sensitivity. That means you can have the same amount of testosterone but feel like you have more. That is a powerful finding. Now let me tell you about another study that adds a crucial piece to this puzzle. A study published in the journal Andrology looked at prolactin levels after ejaculation. Prolactin is a hormone that increases after ejaculation and acts as a kind of brake on dopamine and testosterone. Prolactin spikes briefly after ejaculation, which is why you often feel sleepy and relaxed afterward. That is the refractory period. But the study found that this spike is temporary. Within 30 to 60 minutes, prolactin levels return to baseline. Testosterone levels, on the other hand, showed a slight, temporary increase immediately after ejaculation, followed by a return to baseline within a few hours. So the short answer is this: ejaculation causes a brief, transient fluctuation in testosterone and prolactin, but it does not change your baseline. Daily ejaculation does not destroy your testosterone. It does not boost it either. It is a temporary blip on a much larger radar screen. But wait, there is more. Because the question is not just about numbers. It is about how you feel. It is about your libido, your energy, your mood, and your overall sense of vitality. The psychology of ejaculation becomes just as important as the physiology. I have seen patients who abstain from ejaculation for weeks and feel terrible. They are anxious, irritable, and obsessed with sex. I have seen patients who ejaculate daily and feel fantastic. I have seen the opposite as well. The difference is not in the testosterone. The difference is in the man's relationship to his own sexuality. Let me give you a patient example. I will call him Mark. Mark was 34 years old, healthy, fit, and deeply worried about his testosterone. He had read all the forums, watched all the videos, and convinced himself that his daily ejaculation was slowly destroying his masculinity. He came to me with fatigue, low libido, and a sense of dread. I tested his testosterone. It was completely normal. I tested his thyroid, his cortisol, his vitamin D, and his iron. Everything was normal. But Mark was convinced that his habit was the problem. So I asked him to try a simple experiment. I asked him to abstain for 1 week and track how he felt. Then, I asked him to ejaculate daily for 1 week and track how he felt. The results were telling. During the abstinence week, he was more irritable, more anxious, and more distracted. He felt worse. During the daily ejaculation week, he felt calmer, more relaxed, and more focused. His testosterone levels were the same in both weeks. The difference was entirely psychological. He had been carrying guilt and shame about his sexuality, and that guilt was destroying his well-being, not the ejaculation itself. Now let me address the elephant in the room. There is a widespread belief that abstinence increases aggression, competitiveness, and drive. This is based on the idea that suppressed sexual energy transforms into aggressive energy. And there is some truth to this, but not in the way you think. Testosterone does increase aggression and competitiveness, but ejaculation does not reduce your baseline testosterone. So, if your baseline testosterone is unchanged, your aggression and competitiveness are unchanged. What changes is your perception. Some men feel more aggressive when they abstain because they are frustrated. Others feel less aggressive because they are calm. It is highly individual. Let me share what the research actually says about testosterone and sexual activity. A study from the University of Vienna found that men who had sex regularly had higher testosterone levels than men who did not. But this was not about ejaculation frequency alone. It was about sexual activity with a partner. The intimacy, the bonding, the emotional connection, all of those factors contributed to higher testosterone. Men who had sex with a partner several times a week had higher testosterone than men who masturbated daily. So, it is not just about ejaculation. It is about the context. Sex with a partner is more hormonally stimulating than masturbation. The anticipation, the arousal, the emotional engagement, all of these elevate testosterone more than the act of ejaculation itself. Now let me talk about what actually destroys your testosterone. Because I want you to leave this video with a clear understanding of the real threats. The things that actually lower your testosterone are not what the internet tells you. They are things like poor sleep. When you sleep less than 5 hours a night, your testosterone drops by 10 to 15%. It is that dramatic. Lack of sleep is one of the most potent testosterone killers we know of. Another is obesity. Fat tissue converts testosterone into estrogen, lowering your testosterone and raising your estrogen simultaneously. Another is chronic stress. Cortisol, the stress hormone, directly inhibits testosterone production. If you are stressed all the time, your testosterone will be low. Another is a poor diet. High sugar intake, processed foods, and insufficient healthy fats all suppress testosterone production. And another is alcohol. Regular alcohol consumption, especially in large amounts, reduces testosterone and damages the testicles. So here is the bottom line. Ejaculation frequency does not matter anywhere near as much as these factors. You can ejaculate every day. You can ejaculate once a week. You can ejaculate once a month. And your testosterone will not change in any meaningful way. What changes your testosterone is how you sleep, how you eat, how you manage stress, how much body fat you carry, and how much alcohol you drink. Those are the real determinants of your hormonal health. And the beautiful thing is that you have control over all of them. Now, I want to be clear about one more thing. There is a condition called postcoital dysphoria, which is a feeling of sadness or anxiety after ejaculation. Some men experience this, and it can make them feel like something is wrong with them or their hormones. But postcoital dysphoria is not a hormonal issue. It is a neurochemical issue. The drop in dopamine and the rise in prolactin can cause temporary mood changes, but it passes quickly, and it is not a sign that your testosterone is crashing. It is a sign that your brain is recalibrating. Let me also address the topic of sperm quality and fertility. Some men abstain because they believe it improves fertility, and there is some truth to this. If you are trying to conceive, abstaining for 2 to 3 days can improve sperm count and quality. But longer abstinence, more than 5 days, actually reduces sperm motility and quality. So, if you are trying to have a child, daily ejaculation is not ideal. But abstinence longer than 5 days is also not ideal. The sweet spot is 2 to 3 days. But this is about fertility, not testosterone. And it does not apply to men who are not trying to conceive. So, let me summarize everything I have told you. Daily ejaculation does not destroy your testosterone. It does not boost it either. It is a neutral act as far as your baseline testosterone is concerned. Your testosterone will fluctuate slightly in the hours after ejaculation, but it will return to baseline quickly. The temporary prolactin spike will make you feel relaxed and sleepy, but it will pass. The psychological effects of ejaculation, whether you feel guilty, relaxed, anxious, or satisfied, are more important than the physiological effects. And the real factors that influence your testosterone, sleep, diet, stress, body fat, and alcohol are where you should focus your attention. I want to leave you with this thought. Your body is designed for pleasure. It is designed for connection. It is designed for intimacy. You do not need to feel guilty about enjoying your own body. You do not need to feel anxious about whether you are doing it too much or too little. The research is clear. Ejaculation is not a threat to your masculinity. It is not a threat to your health. It is a normal, healthy, and natural part of being a man. And if you are still worried about your testosterone, I want you to do something for me. I want you to track your sleep for 1 week. I want you to cut your sugar intake in half. I want you to take a 20-minute walk every day. I want you to stop drinking alcohol for 1 week. And I want you to practice deep breathing for 5 minutes every morning. Do those things, and I guarantee your testosterone will improve more than any change in your ejaculation frequency ever could. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever worried about this? Have you tried abstinence? Have you noticed any changes in how you feel? Leave me a comment and share your experience. I read every comment, and your stories shape what I cover next. And if you want more videos that explain the real science behind male health, hit subscribe and give this a like. Because the truth is out there, and I am here to bring it to you without the bro science, without the myths, and without the fear. This is Dr. William, and I will see you in the next one.